Ladies and gentlemen, we are live tonight for another edition of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 as we are Nextel Cup Series racing for this custom schedule season in the running of the Checker Auto Parts 500 at the Phoenix International Raceway. Part of our Phoenix doubleheader coming into race number 8 of this season, we ran the Phoenix road course of the Phoenix infield in the last race, which took place last week, and now this week we are going to be running the oval at Phoenix. We'll see who will come out on top. We had a rookie win his first race of his NASCAR Cup Series career, Nextel Cup Series career, and that was Scott Wimmer at the Daytona, the Phoenix road course. Now we'll see who can get it done at the challenging Phoenix Oval. Of course, this is the old Phoenix layout. They have the grass on the backstretch. The chicane, or I should say the dog leg, is a lot more narrow because there's no apron. And the track in general is just a lot more narrow than what you would see now, pretty much all the way around the track, even in turns 3 and 4 as well. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into tonight's live stream. Of course, NASCAR Cup Series is actually at Phoenix later on this weekend, so this is a little bit of a prelude to that. That will be taking place on Sunday afternoon. We'll be doing live commentary for that race this weekend, just like we did last week with the Las Vegas Cup race. So let's get this one underway. No practice, no qualifying for the start of tonight's race. And that means Greg Biffle, our driver, will be starting at the rear. He's coming in off a DNF in the last race, the first race that he had DNF'd in all season. Green flag is in the air. Rookie Scott Riggs will lead the field of the green after qualifying on the pole. And the 500-kilometer, 312-mile race is underway. Man, a bunch of contact in turn 1, and Bobby Labonte gets dumped already. I'm not... hang on. I'm not one for restarting. I messed that up all by myself. That was really, really bad. Oh, my goodness. Santiago, Kid, Patrick, Shadley, welcome to the stream. I was not paying enough attention. I'm not one for restarting the race, but I will do so right now. I really hope that doesn't simulate it. That's not going to simulate the race, is it? Oh, please don't simulate it. No! Oh, it can't end like this. I am such an idiot. I can't believe I did that. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? There's got to be some way we can go back and rerun that race. Oh my gosh. Why did I do that? And this is why I don't restart the races. Give me a second. I cannot believe I did that. That was so stupid. I'm gonna have to mute it. Turn off autosave. It doesn't... I figured if maybe I restarted the system, maybe it didn't save that. Do you want to autosave the memory? See, like, I have the choice right now. I want to autosave it, though, just in case I... Jeez. I'm scared. I really don't want to have that race be simulated. Season Continue. Woohoo! Oh, thank goodness. I think we're all right. If I would have backed out like even that far, I don't think it would have saved it. I think I backed out at a good point. I think we're all right. All right, let's try this again. Oh my gosh, I scared myself. You don't know how much I scared myself. I'm glad I thought of, quickly restarting the game right when that happened. We almost lost Phoenix, ladies and gentlemen. We'll try this again.
EA Sports welcomes you to the Phoenix International Raceway.
Get to hear Bill Weber for a little bit.
Just 3 races remain in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. Today, drivers
Get my
focus on this one
setup back to the way it was. We'll not practice and qualify once again. All right. Scott Riggs, for the sake of this... Oh, we're in the Granger paint scheme again. That's all right. I'm not backing out again. Green flag is in the air. We're going to say for consistency's sake that Scott Riggs is still the pole sitter in this race today as we are underway at Phoenix. Oh my gosh. Hang on. Wait a minute. Why can't I turn the car? I know I set the wedge all the way up. I think when I did that, I messed with the settings too that I had beforehand. I might have to reset this one more time. Alright, hang on. It worked the first time. It should work this time. We are on a roll tonight. This has to be the sloppiest start to a stream I think I've ever had on the channel. For those of you that are tuning in a little bit late, you haven't missed a thing as far as the racing goes tonight. Oh my goodness. Well, how's everybody else's night going? Santiago Kid, Patrick Shadley, R6R6, welcome to the stream. Hello, Mr. 8-time Keegan Schneider. By 8-time, do you mean we're going to have to restart this race 8 times before we actually get it going? This is not a game glitch. This is not like NASCAR 21 edition. This is all my fault tonight. I came underprepared. Oh, jeez. This is just a wild, wild night. Continue. Jeez, Keegan, you're making a great delayed race game. Yeah, this is only being delayed for, I don't even know what. Oh my gosh. I forgot to change the paint scheme again. Hang on. We've waited long enough. I guess we could wait a little bit more. Oh, well, no, I'll just keep it the way it is. Whoops. There you go. Alright, I think we're ready to rock and roll. I guess we're going to be running the Granger paint scheme tonight. We're not going to be running the National Guard paint scheme. I meant to change that when I backed out the second time around, and I did not. What do they say? Third time's the charm? That's what we're going with right now. I think I got it. I've had the game audio turned off too. There we go. Now we got some game audio. Turn my volume up and we should be good to go now. Alright. Third time's the charm. Scott Riggs on the pole. Greg Biffle starting at the back. No practice. Hey, Scott Riggs is actually on the pole this time too. Green flag is in the air. We're underway at Phoenix. As they barrel it off into turn one. Riggs has the lead right now through the dogleg on the backstretch. And knowing we had a little bit of a delayed start, maybe a bit antsy at the back of the pack for Greg Biffle to try to get this one underway, but he's going to try to be patient early on. Derek Booth, welcome to the stream. And contact off the exit of turn two. I believe that was Earl Hall in the 176 that Biffle made contact with that time. Riggs got 5 bonus points for leading the opening lap. Biffle getting a little loose on the bottom. Hugging the apron, and the 123 of Charlie Davis was able to stay in front of him from the outside lane. So Riggs has led the first 2 laps. Track position going to mean a lot. Every time we raced at Phoenix in both the Busch, even the Cup Series on the first season, as well as the Truck Series custom schedule season, that track position means a lot. It's really hard to pass the leader more specifically. Passing in traffic, not quite as difficult, but passing the leader is where the main issue is going to end up lying tonight. Greg Biffle on the inside of Charlie Davis this time. As he looks to make a pass. Does, and he'll also get around Terry Labonte for position in turns 1 and 2 as well. Jeff Gordon going to take the race lead away. He'll score 5 bonus points. So Greg Biffle with his first DNF of the season coming at the Phoenix Road Course late in that race. He had just a wild event. The event was wild as a whole. We had 20 cautions in that race, and Biffle was probably at the forefront of about half of the yellows. Got back in the gas way too soon that time, nearly got in the wall. He didn't have to lift any extra, and he's able to file himself back down to the inside. Tried to get underneath the 198, clipped the apron again, gets a bit loose. Trying to pick the throttle back up. Yeah, I saw that earlier today. The MLB lockout's over. Fortunate they couldn't come to an agreement at the start of the season. Or to get the season started normal, I guess. Better late than never, I guess. Biffle comes in with a 62-point lead over Dale Earnhardt Jr. Following that DNF in the last race for himself. Jr. went on to have a top 10 run. Jamie McMurray in the 42 is a rival of Greg Biffle. Looks like Biffle's going to have to be careful trying to pass him. And McMurray just sideswipes him in the middle of turns 1 and 2. And he tries to hit him again as Biffle's able to roll on by. So McMurray taking frustrations out on Greg Biffle. A couple drivers only a couple seasons into their Cup Series careers as of this 2004 season. McMurray was a full-time rookie in 03 as well as Greg Biffle. Ran part-time and got his first career win in 2002 was McMurray. Oh, it's still going to be 162 games? I didn't look into it. All I literally saw was the headline that the lockout was over, and that was it. I didn't really look into it. Well, that's good. Three wide, Ricky Rudd on the outside of Michael Waltrip as Biffle went to the inside, and they're all clear off the exit of turn 2. So Riggs was able to lead the first 2 or 3 laps. Jeff Gordon took the lead away from him, and it seems like Gordon likely is pulling away from the field now since taking over the race lead. Lap 11, Biffle gets a little loose. That time he got on the apron in turns 1 and 2. Again, he hangs onto the car. Lucky not to make contact with the driver to his outside every time he gets down onto the apron. Just overdriving the corner a bit. Underneath his teammate Mark Martin off the exit of turn 4. And an expanded playoff. I'm not really a big fan of that, though. For the entertainment factor, the one-game wildcard series was good, but I mean, when you have such a long season, 162 games, you pretty much know who the top 8 or 10 teams are, virtue of the playoffs. Like, you don't need to add more playoff teams. That's kind of my gripe with the NBA and the NHL having 16 teams in their playoffs. You play 82 games. Every team literally plays each other at least twice throughout the course of the season, no matter what conference they're in. You don't really need 16 teams, literally half the league in the playoffs. The NFL, there is an exception to that rule because it's only 16 games in a season. So that is like the only one of the major sports where I could actually understand having more playoff teams that actually probably benefit. Not only by the, marketing campaign and the entertainment portion of it, because you're getting more games, more playoff games, but also because when you have such a short season and over half the league doesn't play each other. So a bit of contact 3 wide again. Biffle clips the apron, but that time he was 3 wide when he did it, so he made contact. The car to his outside, and unfortunately Johnny Sutter got shifted into the outside wall. But we stay green off the exit of turn 4 that last time by caution free through 15 laps. 162 games of, oh my goodness. We'd have people dying after probably 30 games. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but do you imagine an NFL game every day or 6 days a week? 3 to 4 game series. And there would definitely be a lockout situation if that was ever announced. And I'd be on the side of the players, that's for sure. Greg Biffle's already cracked the top 15 in just 17 laps without the practice or qualifying. Of the all-season points format. Yeah, definitely made that DNF in the last race for Biffle very vital to his championship run. He's leading in the points right now, and he's led since the very get-go of the season, considering he won the season opener at the Daytona Road Course. But that lead's dwindled down to 62 points all of a sudden now, and it's only race number 8. We have a lot more fantasy road courses left. In fact, the next 2 races, both tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and then Saturday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have some fantasy road courses on the Cup Series schedule for this custom schedule season, and it'll be taking place at the Devil's Canyon tomorrow and then at the New York Metro Speedway on Saturday night. So a couple more wild card races. This Phoenix race may be going to be a lot more tame than the Phoenix road course race we saw last week, and probably even more so than the next 2 races we're going to see in the season as well. The only bright side with expanding the playoffs is for my Tigers that are kind of like a mid-tier kind of a team expected this year and how they played last year. Maybe they have a better shot at making the playoffs this season, but overall it's probably not a great look. Biffle really drove it in pretty deep that time. Riggs, after leading the first couple laps from the pole, has dropped back to 11th place. He's already outside the top 10. Biffle will get underneath him into turn 1 now as well, and Riggs is back to 12th. Marlin follows Biffle to the inside. Nope, not quite. Riggs was able to block the run from Marlin off the exit of turn 2. Biffle trying to get underneath the 88 of Dale Jarrett. That's not going to work out. Oh, and Jarrett gets loose. Contact. Oh, and he nearly goes around. I don't know how that wasn't a caution. Heavy contact into the outside wall for Dale Jarrett as he got hooked on the front bumper of the 16 of Biffle. He had slid a bit sideways off the exit of turn 4 before Biffle had gotten into the back of him. That's actually why Biffle got into the back of him. He couldn't check up in time. And once he got on him, he couldn't get off of him, and the 88 overcorrected into the outside wall, but somehow there was no caution flag for that, what pretty much looked like an accident. Biffle only lost 1 position in all that. I think that was Sterling Marlin in the 40 car who got by the carnage. And if that's not a caution, I don't know what will be a caution. Marlin getting a little loose off the exit of turn 2. Biffle going to go wide. Not going to be able to make the pass. Marlin with a block to the top, to the bottom, into turn 3. Biffle, Marlin racing hard for 10th. Biffle has the advantage down to the bottom into turn 1. Got by Marlin cleanly already, and he'll do it again off the exit of turn 2. He's clear. 4.5 seconds behind race leader Jeff Gordon now for Greg Biffle. Second time he has been in the top 10 in the early going of tonight's race. Restalked up, welcome to the stream. MLBPA wanted a 14-team play. Yeah, I mean, that's just... I don't even... Yeah, 8 to 10 teams at the most, honestly, is what it should be. When you have 162 games. It defeats the purpose of playing 162 games if you're going to expand the playoffs. I feel like if you're going to expand the playoffs, you need to shorten the season, personally. I mean, this is kind of the same issue NASCAR has with as many drivers that are in their playoffs. I'm all for a playoff system. You know, that's alright for me. I would prefer a season-long points format, but playoffs have shown to be dramatic. It definitely adds to the drama, adds to the entertainment factor, and there's still a way of being able to do it and crowning a pretty legitimate champion based off of the playoff format we've had since 2017 when staged racing was introduced. Personally, I think this is the best playoff format that they've had since it came into acceptance with the original chase in 2004. But 16 drivers is quite of a lot considering you have 26 races, which is quite a lot, to be completely honest. I mean, that's half a year of racing to figure out who the 16 best teams are. You pretty much have a good gauge of who the top 8 to 10 teams are. I think that was the best thing that the original chase format had, is that it was the 10 best drivers. It was extremely hard, and there were going to be some good drivers that were going to miss the chase every year. We had seen that. Drivers like Jeff Gordon or Tony Stewart missing the chase in certain years, Dale Jr. You know, some good, respectable drivers just were not making it. $8 to 12 is kind of what I would shoot for NASCAR for the Cup Series if they were to keep a playoff or a chase format. I'd say 8 to 12 is that sweet spot. I mean, you look at the Xfinity Series, that only has 3 less races in a season, and the regular season's only 1 race less than the Cup Series. I think 12 is a good number for them, personally. It's kind of what I wish the Cup Series was. 12 race playoff, and then instead of 1 race to decide the season champion at the end, it's a 3 race round just like the other 3, or the other rounds prior to it were 3 races in a round. It's alright to have the win and you're in for the next round, as long as, you know, obviously the championship 4 wouldn't be like that in my playoff format because it'd be 3 races. Remember the first year of the chase? Yeah. What was it? 5 drivers went into the last race of the shot to win the championship? Gordon never really pulled away from the pack. It almost seems like he's kind of holding everybody else up. He was fast enough to get around Scott Riggs because we saw Riggs quickly drop outside the top 12 in a hurry, but he might be holding everybody else up, and it's allowing Greg Biffle now to get within 2 seconds of the lead after being as many as 4.5 seconds back. Of course, Biffle's fastest lap was not that last lap, but the lap prior to that with a 27.936. Biffle to the inside of Jimmy Johnson. Pass made cleanly for 9th. Teammate Matt Kenseth now ahead of Biffle. Kenseth actually looking to the inside of Tony Stewart. Couldn't quite get there off the exit of turn 4. We'll try it again this go around in turns 1 and 2, and he'll get there. Biffle to the inside of both of them. 3 wide now. Kenseth and Biffle both clear. Stewart very close. Maybe a bit of contact between Kenseth and Biffle in the dogleg as Kane was able to pull down in front of both of them. With that little bit of contact, it was just enough to allow Casey Kane, who was in that 3rd lane, to hang on to his position. Biffle just gets underneath Kane. Kane tried to throw a major block on the front straightaway, but Biffle was already there after almost getting squeezed into the wall. He'll make the pass on Kane through turns 1 and 2 for 6th. Elliott Sadler going for the lead on Jeff Gordon at the front of the pack, but he can't quite get underneath him that time into turn 3. We haven't seen a Cup race go caution-free today, but comment down below how many cautions you think we'll get in this Phoenix race here tonight. So far, caution-free through the first 40. Biffle wiggles a bit, but he's still underneath Newman. Still able to beat him back to the gas. Was driving out of the wiggle that he did have. Dale Jr. to the inside of Kevin Harvick. That's going to open the door up for Biffle to get underneath Harvick as well. Dale Jr. to P3. Gordon still trying to hold off Elliott Sadler. Sadler going wide in turns 1 and 2. He's going to lose a little bit of ground. And Biffle all over the back of Dale Jr. for third. Sadler again goes wide in turns 3 and 4. Jr. to the inside for second place. Biffle has a run on both drivers, but he can't get underneath. Biffle to the inside of Sadler, just squeezes underneath him. Able to side draft the left rear corner panel to 38. I think Dale Jr. might get to the lead here. He charged past a couple drivers, opening the lane up for Biffle to make a couple passes as well to move up to third. Might do the same to get to first and second for the 8 and the 16. Jr. looks low. Not quite going to be able to get to the inside of Gordon. Biffle going to go a bit wide off the exit of turn 1 and 2. To the curbing down into the dog leg. Didn't really bounce him anywhere. Oh, only 4 drivers had a chance at the championship that day. I was thinking it was 5 going in, but I guess I was wrong. Biffle under Dale Jr., and Jr. maybe took a little too long to get around Gordon, and that allows Biffle now to move up to P2. And he wants his shot at the 24. Oh. Man, just can't quite get there. The hardest car to pass is going to be the driver with the clean air, and that is Jeff Gordon right now. Biffle got a little tight in line. Gets in the wall a bit off the exit of turn 4. Just trying to get that momentum back. Trying to find a way around the 24. He's all over him. He just can't get to the inside. It was 5. I meant 4 car. Oh, okay, gotcha. And he almost got around him. He got him to wiggle a little bit. The intimidation button, that's what happened with Dale Jarrett earlier, but Biffle's able to check up in time to keep it off the 24. Gordon gets loose. Biffle to the outside. Gordon had to go all the way down to the apron to try and block Dale Earnhardt Jr. Biffle still couldn't make the pass for the lead. Jr. overdrives turn 3. Gordon again getting a bit loose, but he's holding on. Biffle trying to find a way around him. That was probably the best way. We're going to again try the outside lane through turns 3 and 4. Nothing doing. Gordon gaps him a little bit. Definitely not enough grip up there to run the outside. Now with that traction compound slash PJ1 on the outside groove, you're able to actually do it. Biffle in the gas too soon, and he cracks the wall off the exit of turn 2. Dale Jr. gets by for second. Harvick now to third. Jr. goes wide in turns 3 and 4 and almost gave up second place. They're taking it away. Biffle the crossover to get back to the inside of Kevin Harvick for third, though. Lap 50 that time by at the start-finish line. Biffle back to P3. That's why track position is important at Old Phoenix. The struggle to pass is a real thing. Especially in the drivers towards the front of the field. Junior gets loose, and that was just what happened with Dale Jarrett. We have a wreck on the backstretch. Pretty big pile up, and Biffle gets caught up in it. Got hooked on Dale Jr., and that time we see our first caution of the race. Harvick goes spinning to the inside retaining wall down into the grass. I believe he backed it into the wall there. So unfortunately collected. Sadler got a piece of Kevin Harvick on the way down. And we have our first caution of the night. And Greg Biffle will pit here. Not sure if anybody else is going to make a stop or not. And they will all pit. Biffle not going to take fuel or tires here. Doesn't want the unfair advantage causing the caution. So he should come out with the race lead. Everybody was about halfway on fuel. Lap 53 is the caution. Or at least the pit stops during the caution. '16 team taking time, repair their damage. They knew they were going to come out with the lead, not taking fuel or tires there. This might actually help him, though, considering that the track position has been a big factor in this one. Green flag is back in the air as Greg Biffle leads the field to the green. Similar situation to what happened a couple nights ago in the Busch Series race at the Levi Strauss Signature Speedway. Only this is a much longer race. I don't think it's going to hurt him like it did that day. Ward Burton rather, in the Zero car ended up winning the race off of pit road. Of everybody who took tires. He'll restart second, but he cracks the wall off of turn 4. Kevin Harvick will drive underneath him, and Harvick will take over second place. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. Baseball is back. We were actually just talking about that a little bit ago. And see, even with Greg Biffle on older tires, compared to the rest of the field behind him, he is able to hold on to the lead with the clean air advantage here at Phoenix. So that could potentially be a strategy call late in the race, maybe not to take any tires. Obviously, Biffle's going to be in a circumstance where he will have to pit before the rest of the field here. But it's going to be a little while before that even happens. Harvick goes wide in turns 1 and 2. Oh, he didn't win the championship last night. That's a bummer. Biffle overdrives turns 3 and 4. It's a pretty big window of opportunity. Dale Jr. gets to second, though. He was in the middle of trying to pass Harvick, so he couldn't get to the inside of Biffle. So if there was a time for Biffle to make a mistake, that was the right time. Harvick now going to try to cross over Dale Jr. for second place in turns 1 and 2. Harvick gets him right back. Harvick currently is the all-time winningest driver at the Phoenix International Raceway with 9 career wins at the racetrack. Though in 2004, obviously, that was not the case. Harvick was only a couple years into his Cup Series career. Rookie in 2001, filling in for the late, great Dale Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon backed up in 4th place. Gordon led all but the first couple laps until that caution came out, but a slow pit stop has put him back in traffic. Still sitting in the top 5. It definitely looked like Dale Jr. had one of the stronger cars in the field. He couldn't get to the lead, and he's still struggling to do so. That's the thing, though. Biffle not pulling away, but he still feels comfortable with his lead, even on older tires right now. They're not really putting in a great effort to try and get around him. He's just got to make sure he doesn't make a mistake on his own to open up a big hole on the inside for somebody to get underneath him. Mikey, welcome to the stream. Harvick going wide in turns 3 and 4. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. Maybe trying to get clean air and try to find a different way to get around Greg Biffle, but that does not work either. Going to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today as we get to the start-finish line. Greg Biffle out in front of the field. He only had to lead 18 laps tonight to get to 600 laps led on the season. Obviously, having that track position now, he's very close to doing so if he has not already gotten to 18 laps led. I don't think we've had that many laps since the restart yet. A lot of you guys happy about baseball being back. As am I. Harvick overdrives turns 1 and 2. He closed in quite a bit on the other end of the track at 3 and 4, though, but him jumping up wide is going to allow Dale Jr. to get underneath him for 2nd place. They're side by side down the backstretch into turn 3. Jr. looking for the advantage. Remember, with Biffle having to pit before those drivers, it's going to allow Greg Biffle to obviously lead laps now, but he's going to end up going a lap down when he has to make his stop, and he's just going to obviously have to hope that this stays green long enough for everything to work itself out. Dale Jr. was able to clear Harvick for 2nd that last lap as well. We are at lap 70 already in this one. This is one of the shortest races of the season. A couple of longer races on some road courses, though, coming up over the next couple of races. And over the next couple of nights leading into Sunday's live commentary of the NASCAR Cup Series race at Phoenix. Biffle hooked to that yellow line, at least in the first half of turns 3 and 4. Car starting to definitely drift a little bit wider, a little more for his liking than what he would like personally, but that's the added effect of these older tires. We go a bit wide again. Time through turns 1 and 2. See, if he was in traffic with these older tires, he'd probably be going a little bit wider than what he even is right now. At least with the clean air, it's bearable. I think we had that champion glitch as well, if I'm not mistaken. And Dale Jr., by the way, was able to get to the inside of Greg Biffle. At least it looked like it. Biffle with the block in turn 3, and he's able to, in fact, hang on. I thought Jr. got underneath him in the dog leg after Biffle went wide in turns 1 and 2 again, but he was not able to get underneath. Biffle threw a pretty big block, but it was a clean one. Get back down to the bottom lane, and now Jr. overdrives turns 1 and 2. So these drivers definitely dealing with the tough conditions out here in the desert. Yeah, the New York Metro Speedway road course is going to be a night race as well, as Michael stated in the chat. Biffle maybe had his left side tires down below that yellow line just a bit too much. Had to lift off the exit of turn 4 just to keep it off the wall. And here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. with a big run to the inside into turn 1. But again, Biffle beats him down there. Jr. might have got back into the gas a little early. He goes wide off the exit of turn 2. And Harvick may get to the inside of him. Nope, not quite. Dale Jr. able to hold on. At least for now. He's going to go wide again, though, in turns 3 and 4. Now Harvick's definitely underneath him. Going to take over second in the battle for the eventual race lead. Unless we get a caution before Greg Biffle would have to pit. Looks like Harvick should be able to clear Jr. into turn 3, and he does. I don't know if that would have been a glitch with your signing of the Xfinity Series in that game, because I know I saw contract offers too, even if you didn't have a hot seat offer with the specific team. I think it's just based off of how you finish in points, so because you were in the Championship 4 and you finished top 4 in the point standings, they probably offered you a ride for that reason. Or if you would have finished further back in the points, they probably wouldn't have offered you a ride. I don't think Biffle's had more than a half a second lead since the restart. He might pull away for a couple laps and have a couple good laps back-to-back together to be able to do that, but the consistency with these old tires is just not allowing him to do so as he makes a mistake getting into turn 1 there. Exhibit A. Got consistently about 10 viewers watching the race so far in the early going tonight. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Got up to 21 likes on last night's Busch Series live stream, so appreciate that. Again, you guys have been doing a great job of that. I mentioned it a couple times last night, but we seem to be in that 20 to 30 range every stream, so see if we can do that again tonight. It's a cup race, so I expect to. Contact into turn 3. Kevin Harvick putting the bumper to Dale Jr. A little bump and run to try and make the move for second. Still side by side into turn 1. And they may be side by side still through the dog leg. Harvick trying to pinch Dale Jr. Biffle going to overdrive turn 3. In front of him, and that might open the door for Harvick. Harvick is not quite clear off the exit of turn 4, but he will lead his first lap of the race. 5 bonus points for him there. And now Harvick is clear. So we mentioned how hard it is to pass the leader, but Biffle made a very big mistake going wide on entry into turn 3, and Harvick gets underneath him. And Biffle on these older tires, and now caught in the dirty area. It's going to be tough to get around the 29. And he's in the wall now. He's definitely struggling now that he's in traffic. Desperately trying to hold on for second. I think Gordon checked up to keep from running into the back of Biffle, and Biffle got in the wall off of turn 4, and that checkup allows Dale Jr. to get back to third, passing the 24 of Gordon. Biffle trying to intimidate Kevin Harvick. Maybe that's one way he could lose the lead. Oh, he got him loose. Allows Biffle to reel him in a little bit. Bouncing up off the curbing. Into turns 3 and 4. Definitely not going to get around him this time. You can definitely see how much wider Biffle's going. And I think he might have grazed the wall again off turn 4 as he lost a little bit of time. Just can't push that hard in traffic. Biffle trying to get Harvick loose. Desperately. About his only real way he's going to get back to the lead anytime soon. Harvick gets loose. Biffle into the back of him. And now he's going to go low to try and block Dale Jr. as Harvick holds on to the lead. Bit of a stack up, a little too much of one there. At least Harvick was able to make the save. Remember, that's how we ended up seeing the first caution of the day was off the exit of turn 2 when Dale Jr. got hooked off the front of the 16 of Greg Biffle. In a similar stack-up, Harvick was also involved in that accident as well as Elliott Sadler. Biffle wiggles, up the track he goes, and in the wall off turn 4. get him loose, but Harvick isn't getting loose enough for Biffle to be able to take the lead from him. Try it again through turns 1 and 2. Doesn't work to any avail that time. Into turns 3 and 4. Biffle glued to that yellow line beautifully that time. Biffle into turn 3. Drove it in deep. Maybe a little too flat. In the dirty air behind Kevin Harvick. Didn't get tight that time though, and he'll stay right behind him. Into turns 1 and 2. Still not able to get around him. Biffle, so close to getting underneath him, but he still can't do it. Now he's there off of turn 2. He finally gets underneath Kevin Harvick after so many laps of trying. Contact though, up the track, and Harvick gets into the wall after the contact with Greg Biffle. But Biffle's going to get to the lead. He had to ruffle Harvick up a little bit to do it on these old tires, but he was able to get around him. He's not going to be able to hold on to the lead for much longer, as he will have to pit within the next couple laps. Tristan Heidenkamp, welcome to the stream. I get snow? No, I haven't gotten any snow. I think it's supposed to snow starting tomorrow morning. But it's only like a 30 to 40% chance in the morning, so I don't know if it's actually going to snow or not. I haven't really looked at the radar either. I was just basing it off of the forecast. Well, Biffle overdrove 1 and 2. Almost into the wall. That was a close one. He was up in the marbles. Harvick might get back to the lead anyway. And he does. Into turns 3 and 4. Biffle putting the bumper to Harvick, but he wasn't able to get back underneath him off the exit of turn 4. Going wide off turn 2 again. Lost a little time to Harvick. Biffle will stay out this time by. He'll pit the following lap. Lap 101, Greg Biffle will pit. I think those caution laps earlier were just enough to allow him to get to 100 laps during the run. Desperately trying to get around Kevin, but I don't think it's going to happen. So Greg Biffle will pit at the line this time for 4 tires and fuel. Now he's just going to have to hope we don't get a caution before the rest of the field has to pit. And it's going to be a while before they end up having to hit pit road. 4 tires of fuel for Greg Biffle. No adjustments during the first stop of the day. I live in Northwest Ohio. We got missed with snow like, I think it was yesterday afternoon. There was a lot of snow that like went through Columbus and stuff, but we didn't get anything. It missed us. Even like north of Columbus. I mean, it probably only missed my house by maybe a half hour. No, it would have been more than that because I worked about a half hour south of where I live. 35 minutes south of where I live, and it didn't snow there either. So I didn't miss it by much. So Greg Biffle in last place. He's the only car 1 lap down currently. He has 4 fresh tires, and he's looking to go to work. The only car to pit during green flag conditions in the race today, giving up his second place spot. Harvick continues to lead at Phoenix. He's the master at Phoenix in NASCAR nowadays. Biffle really needs this to stay green for a long period of time for him to cycle back to the lead once again. And Jamie McMurray is a rival of Greg Biffle, so this is probably going to be a car which Biffle's going to have to be careful trying to pass. Again, he doesn't need a caution, whether he's involved or not. Over driving turns 1 and 2. Big slide that time as he was down on the apron. McMurray to the outside of Jimmy Johnson into turn 3. Turn 1, rather. Now that would be turn 3. This is the old turn 1. Biffle wants to get going on these fresher tires. He knows he's much faster than the cars in front of him. Just not really giving him much room. Biffle underneath Jamie McMurray. Really hoping that McMurray doesn't take a swing at him, so Biffle's going to run extremely low on the front stretch. McMurray hits him in turns 3 and 4. So there's some contact. McMurray getting knocked out of the way. Biffle not appreciating McMurray's tactics. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Yeah, we're a lap down because we pitted under green flag. Biffle stayed out to get the track position during the first caution of the race, right at about lap 51. So he had to pit before everybody else. He was able to lead about 30 to 40 laps in that transition between him pitting. So now he's just trying to make his time up now. Just hoping that a caution doesn't come out. Worst case scenario, if we did get a yellow, he is the first and only car 1 lap down currently, so he would get the free pass. That was the problem with the Busch Series when we had a caution when he was a couple laps down. There were no free passes in the Busch Series, but in the Cup Series, there is a free pass for the first car 1 lap down in this game. Yeah, I meant 1 and 2. Getting squeezed. Just gets underneath Tony Stewart. Got a little bit of ways to go even to unlap himself. He should be able to come out with the race lead, considering he has fresher tires and he's the fastest car on the track right now, if we stay green. Labonte gets a bit loose. Biffle to the outside into the dogleg. Not sure if he's going to be able to get around Labonte. He does not. And that's going to cost Biffle because now Rusty Wallace will get to the inside of the 16. Biffle gets a good run, though, off the exit of turn 4. Beats Wallace back to the gas. Pinches him off to try to get back to the bottom into turn 1. That was a block that he was not clear on. I guess it worked itself out. Luckily. Luckily for both drivers, really. Now Bobby Labonte grazes the wall off of turn 2. Oh, contact! Couple of the Roush cars get together. Kurt Busch and Jeff Burton off the exit of the dog leg. Kind of that short chute between the dog leg and turn 3. See the donuts on the left side of Jeff Burton's car. That was from Kurt Busch, who was underneath him. Stacked up a couple cars, allows Biffle to get by 3 of which didn't slow him up at all. It very well could have. But he was on the attack. He didn't want to check up. Considering Matt Kenseth and Greg Biffle were right there behind those guys, that could have been a potential 4-car pileup involving all the Roush cars. Kurt Busch in the wall off turn 2 now. He's maybe dealing with a tight race car as he's able to not quite roll the bottom and keep it there through the middle of the corner. Biffle gets around Ward Burton, who's having a great day early on in the 0 car. Phoenix on Heat 4 and Heat 5, you haven't had luck? Yeah, it's a difficult track in the NASCAR Heat games. "13 people watching right now. 11 likes on the stream. Smash the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. You're watching the Checker Auto Parts 500 at Phoenix. We're on lap 119 of 312. Kevin Harvick is the race leader. And he's about to get into lap traffic, so although Biffle's the first car 1 lap down because of pitting under green flag conditions now, who's to say he's still going to be there in a few laps once Harvick starts to lap some more cars. So Biffle's in desperate need of trying to unlap himself here if he doesn't get a caution immediately. Or again, just hope that it stays green for everybody to cycle through and he'll get back to the lead. Should be a 2-stop race for everybody regardless of whether they pitted under the caution or not, which would mean it's a 3-stop race total. Biffle will need 2 more stops yet to the end of the race. And it's way too early in the race when those guys pitted during the lap 51 caution for them to be able to make it on fuel on just 1 more stop. Yeah, it's Casey Mears sitting in 3rd place right now. 4th place, rather. Dale Jr. would be 2nd. Harvick the leader, Jeff Gordon 3rd. But still, 4th place run for Casey Mears is pretty solid for that Chip Ganassi Racing Dodge. Biffle into the back of him off the exit of turn 2. And looking to get around him. To the bottom. Into turns 3 and 4. Got to the apron. Biffle didn't get that loose that time, though. And very lucky he didn't as he drives to the inside of Mears, who was trying to crowd him. Best to let him go considering he is a lap down right now. He's not racing in 4th position. Biffle to the inside of Gordon now off the exit of turn 2. Gordon going to try to crowd the 16 into the dog leg as they nearly make contact. Into turn 3. Biffle clears Gordon. Gordon almost gets in the wall off turn 4. Had to lift, and Casey Mears is closing back in on him again. Not sure exactly who the first car one lap down would be, but we know it's not Biffle anymore. This next car in front of him, Kyle Petty in the 45, will be for position. All 43 cars, of course, still on the racetrack. Biffle a little too low on the front stretch. Petty squeezed him, but he still ran into the inside wall somewhat willingly. Still has the tire advantage, though, to get around Petty through turns 1 and 2. Dale Jr. in second place, right in front of Biffle. See the damage on the right rear of Jr. from that first caution of the night. Biffle underneath him. Make the pass. Now he's underneath the 30 of Sauter, who goes wide in turns 3 and 4. It's 4th position. Biffle will get around him. Oh! Might have squeezed himself into the wall. Along with Sauter. Pulled up a bit too soon. Keeps Dale Jr. behind him for the meantime. Biffle soars to the inside of the 142. Makes another pass for position. Up to 40th. Harvick still got a decent-sized lead on Dale Jr. It does seem like Jr.'s closing in on him a little bit in the lap traffic. Next few cars are all lappers. He's definitely closing in on Harvick, but he's, as of right now at least, has probably about a second between the two, as well as 3 lap cars between the 16 and the 29. Our longest green flag run in the first half of tonight's race is the current one we're on. We went green at lap 54 on the restart. We'll be coming to lap 131 this time around. 192 car gets in the wall off turn 4, so does Biffle. No contact between the two drivers, it was both on their own. There's Scott Wimmer, our Phoenix Road Course winner. He's already a lap down in the early going of this race. He's about to drop back to 37th. Biffle will get around him for position. Harvick's definitely getting through the lap traffic pretty good. Dale Jr. is also. It looked like Jr. was closing in briefly, but now Harvick's getting through the lap traffic better than what Dale Jr. was. And here comes Biffle to the inside of Harvick. He'll pull him 3 wide. Lap car on the outside in the middle. Contact into the dog leg. And the contact doesn't matter. Harvick will hold on to the lead as he gets shifted to the outside. Biffle will be back on the lead lap. Desperate move to go 3 wide on a short track like that, especially into the dog leg where it narrows up on the backstretch probably more than any other portion of the racetrack. Biffle is back in the lead lap, so he can breathe a little bit, where if we get a caution, he won't get trapped a lap down. And he still has fresher tires than everybody else in the field. We have some cars checking up off the exit of turn 4 as our pole sitter Scott Riggs has blown an engine. And that checkup happened to both Brian Vickers and Robbie Gordon. It allows Biffle to get by Gordon in turn 1. He'll get underneath Vickers for 28th place off of turn 2. Vickers trying to side draft Biffle on the back stretch, but Biffle's clear into 3 now, and a lot of clean air now in front of the 16. So a tough break for Riggs. He'll be the first driver out of the race, so the pole sitter, the driver who started first, will be the one that will finish last tonight. He was able to lead the first couple laps of the race. He did get 5 bonus points, but it's going to hurt him in the Rookie of the Year standings. Comment down below in the chat what your favorite Phoenix moment is in NASCAR. It's had some classic moments, of course. Again, the Cup Series will be racing there this weekend. We're racing here now. Maybe a good time for that question. The one that sticks out in my head, there's really two of them. One of them is kind of recent. It's not in the Cup Series, but Daniel Hemrick winning the championship on the last lap of the Xfinity Series race last season has got to be either number 1 or 2 on my list. So between that and then the 2016 finish between Kevin Harvick and Carl Edwards, those are my favorite Phoenix moments. Side by side in front of Greg Biffle for position. Biffle will quickly close on those cars. Gets around one of them for position. He drives underneath the other in the 176 car. That's J.R. Jones. Oh, Jones squeezes Biffle. Biffle is already on the yellow line as they rolled into turns 1 and 2. Biffle will take away that spot for 26th. About 24.5 seconds off the lead still. We're still awaiting green flag pit stops for the rest of the field. It'll be their second stop of the day. And, well, right as I say something, some of the leaders are on pit road right now. Kevin Harvick will pit off of turn 4. A couple others will follow. And so, right when I said we were just waiting on it, they pit right at that moment. I knew they were coming up pretty soon. I didn't think they were going to be that soon. Biffle going to stay wide in turns 3 and 4 in case any other cars in front of him pit. Brendan Gaughan is the next car in front of him right now, so this will cycle Biffle to the lead here before long. Elliott Sadler is now the new leader in this race. He'll get 5 bonus points. He's had a couple DNFs this year, but outside of that, he has had some really great runs. A couple top 5 finishes. He's been in the top 5 briefly throughout tonight's race, and now he has 5 bonus points leading his first lap of the day, just shy of halfway. Even if it is in the middle of green flag pit stops, he has been in the top 10 all day. Still having a good run. And who knows, maybe we get a caution in the middle of these green flag stops and he's able to benefit from it. Still the top 10 have to pit. Biffle to the inside of Sterling Marlin for 10th. And he'll be able to clear Marlin into turn 3. Marlin pulls to the bottom. I believe he's pitting this time. And he does. So is Terry Labonte in front of Biffle. Sadler still on the racetrack. Still leading laps. Favorite Phoenix moment was Kenseth getting his 39th the final Cup win. As a Matt Kenseth fan, I'm sure that is definitely one of the top moments there. It was a pretty cool moment. Didn't realize that was Jamie McMurray underneath Greg Biffle. Surprised he didn't try to run Biffle into the wall. 16 of the 42 still side by side on the front stretch into turn 1. I think Sadler's crew chief needs to make Elliott Sadler aware that Jamie McMurray and Greg Biffle are running around each other right now. Knowing McMurray's a rival of Greg Biffle, we could see a caution. Biffle slides a little loose. McMurray's going to make Biffle's life hard right now. Little contact off the exit of turn 2. Biffle drives it in deep. Puts the bumper to the left rear of McMurray. Oh man, almost getting into one another again, and off the exit of turn 4, Biffle has cleared Jamie Mack. Bobby Labonte will take over the race lead as Elliott Sadler came into pit that last time by. Probably couldn't go any further on fuel. Jeff Gordon versus Clint Boyer is your favorite Phoenix moment? I hated that happened. I don't know if Boyer would have won the championship, but it definitely took him out of the chance to win the title that day. I mean, he still could have finished, you know, probably P2 in the point. Well, honestly, considering Jimmy Johnson had his issues in that race, and then we would go on to Homestead, and Brad Keselowski would have problems, and at least in the sense that Keselowski didn't have a good finish at Homestead, but he won the championship with Jimmy having his issues late in that season, that maybe Boyer would have, in hindsight, still won the championship if he didn't get wrecked out by Gordon that day. We'd be talking about Clint Boyer, who at the end of his career would only have 10 career wins, but he would have a championship. So Bobby Labonte stayed out as long as he could, hoping for a caution. He's not going to get it. He'll come in to hit pit road, and this will give Greg Biffle the race lead. Not this time by, but the following time by. And there's Labonte down on pit road, still trying to get into his box. Phoenix is a very long pit road. So Greg Biffle back out in front. To wait to see how big his lead will be. It looks like it's about an 11.5 second lead for Greg Biffle, his largest of the day at lap 150. So he's out in front now. He'll get the lead more laps, and probably about another 50 laps or so before Biffle will make his green flag pit stop, his second of the day, and that would put everybody on even strategy from there, with only having one more stop to the end of the race. You see lap 51, Biffle halfway on fuel. He pitted at lap 101. So stayed green long enough there. Now he's hoping to stay green long enough at this point so he can continue to lead some laps. Ideally, if he can get a caution right before he ends up having to pit, that would be the best spot for him. Contact with Robbie Gordon in the 31. Got Waltrip a little loose. Biffle to the inside of Waltrip into turn 1. And he'll drive right by him. So he intimidated Michael Waltrip out of the way. Waltrip now the first driver, one lap down. So he tries to race Robbie Gordon for that position. Gordon to the inside of Waltrip into turns 3 and 4. And they're side by side. Good battle going on. Not sure for what position that is other than the free pass position. Boyer finished second that night to who else, Jeff? Oh, you're talking about at Homestead? Yeah, honestly, if that never happened, I think Boyer probably would have won the championship that year. I wasn't thinking that at first, but then I kind of forgot about the issues Johnson and then Keselowski had some problems at Homestead in the sense that he didn't get a good finish. Thought he finished outside the top 20, if I remember right. He might have lost enough points. halfway home that last time by to the start-finish line, as Biffle has that 11.5-second lead roughly. Not really growing or shrinking hardly at all. Running pretty consistent lap times with the rest of the field right now. As far as the leaders go, at least. Still putting cars a lap down in the process. Keselowski finished 15th. I remember him not having a good day that day. Thought he finished further back. He might have been running outside the top 20 for some of the day. Just looked up the results. Brandon Wilson, welcome to the stream. Biffle getting squeezed a bit. Just gets underneath the 142, almost making contact with him. Close quarters racing there as the 142 is desperately trying to hold on to the lead lap, but he's not going to be able to do so any longer. The NASCAR Heat 4 so much. Tried to play EA 2005 and set up a stupid lose. Don't know how I played that game back in the day. Yeah, I know. That's honestly how I felt when I first got into playing NASCAR Thunder 04 on the channel when I was playing Heat 4 and Heat 5 for a while, and then we did that playthrough. That's why I struggled. If you guys go back and watch that, I didn't win a championship either of those 2 seasons. I finished 6th in points and 13th in points the 2 seasons I ran. I struggled. And, you know, on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 05, I kind of struggled out of the game. But over time, I was getting used to it. And now we're at the point where we kind of dominate. It was a little bit of a change from Thunder 04 to NASCAR Chase for the Cup 05. A little bit of a difference in the handling of the cars. Not a major difference, but you can definitely feel a difference from one game to the next. From the physics standpoint. The AI don't quite race you as aggressively. I mean, they race you aggressively in the EA games in general, but in Thunder 04, I feel like they're a lot more aggressive trying to block you mid-race than what this game ends up having it. Biffle gets by the 145. Oh, big block. Talk about blocks being made and not as aggressive in this game. But the 198 of Wagner tried to make a big block on Greg Biffle. Got the 16 a little bit out of shape, but Biffle will make the pass in the end to put him a lap down. Only one driver out of the race today. That would be the 10 of Scott Riggs, who started on the pole. He blew an engine not too long before the rest of the field pitted between laps 136 and 150. Johnny Sauter throwing some big blocks on Biffle. Sauter's already 1 lap down. He's trying not to go a 2nd lap down right now. Biffle struggling to make the pass on him. Sauter bottoming out a little bit. I'm curious if Biffle's going to end up going a lap down when he ends up pitting. He was in 2nd place when he had pit the first time under green flag conditions. He'll come out with the lead. He's got an 11.5-second lead now. And the reason why I say that is because he'll end up pitting probably 40 or so laps before the leaders again. So he's going to have a little bit of time where he's going to have to make sure he doesn't get a caution and go a lap down with that said caution. There's about 30 more laps or so before he ends up pitting, unless he pits before that, tries to short pit. That would give him a longer period of time in which he's on fresher tires compared to the rest of the field. So it may be beneficial for that sake. It's still a 2-stopper to the end for Greg Biffle. Everybody else, though, in the field, not so much. They can make it on 1 more stop from now to the end. So if for some reason we stay green from the restart at lap 54 all the way to the end of the race, just with that 1 lone caution today, I don't know if Biffle can actually make up that full lap on the field. He's got speed in the car, but compared to the rest of the leaders, I don't think he's got that kind of speed. I think he can still get a good finish out of it. Probably a top 10, but the race win is going to definitely be in question. Biffle going to lift in the dog leg and let Bobby Labonte in. He realized he wasn't going to have enough room that time, and he still hit the curbing, even giving Labonte the room. By the way, I saw the 123 car of Charlie Davis get into the wall that last time around as well. It was in the dog leg. Jack Blue Key, welcome to the stream, and thanks for the $2.99 super chat. I'm not sure exactly what currency that is, but thank you. Melbourne, Australia. I'm not sure exactly what your guys' form of currency is, but I appreciate the super chat. Always appreciate it. Oh, $2.20, I see it now. $2.20 in US dollars, but thank you. Thank you for that. Stewart, Kenseth side by side. Labonte right behind him. These guys all trying to stay on the lead lap. With the race leader right behind him. Yes, this is on a PS2. Labonte has cleared Kenseth for position. Now he's trying to get around his teammate Stewart. He's going to go a bit wide, though, in turns 1 and 2. Biffle gets around Kenseth. Now he's underneath Stewart as well. Quarter tank of gas left for Biffle. For the time being. Biffle's cleared Labonte off of turn 4. Kenseth and Labonte side by side for the free pass position. A lot more lap cars even in front of Stewart yet as well. And Biffle underneath Stewart. Stewart bounces off the wall. And almost into Biffle. Biffle went low to try and avoid Stewart from ricocheting off the wall into him. He's able to get a little bit of a side draft. That actually really helped Biffle. Not only slowed Tony down, but also the side draft and then pulling down to the bottom after the contact was the difference maker, and Biffle getting around the 20. especially considering he is on a little bit older tires, which is why some of these cars he is lapping for the first time are still keeping close pace behind him, like Kenseth. Made his way around Labonte and now Stewart as well. Stewart also gets passed by Bobby Labonte. Tony's stuck behind the 22 of Wimmer, who's now 2 laps down. Dale Jarrett, Ryan Newman, last 2 cars on the lead lap in front of Biffle. Biffle hooking that yellow line. Newman just a tad above it. Dale Jarrett was hooked right on it. Definitely making it hard for Ryan Newman to make the pass on the 88. Newman going to go wide now in turns 1 and 2. A lot wider than Biffle and Jarrett. Kenseth's hoping that Biffle does not get around Newman and Jarrett. And if he does, he better be close enough behind the 16 that he can follow him through. So he can remain the first car 1 lap down at least. Newman again, just going a bit wider. Biffle gets tight though in the dirty air behind the 12. He used up the track a little bit for 3 and 4 and lost a tiny bit of ground. A little loose. He's getting those left sides maybe a little bit below that yellow line. That's the difference in him hooking the corner beautifully and getting a little on the loose side and losing a tad bit of ground. Trying to keep that low exit to turn 2, but Newman pulls down to block. Biffle probably not a big enough run to make the pass on him anyway. This group of about 4 cars is catching some slower lap traffic, which could make the passes on the 12 and the 88 a bit easier for the Biff. Biffle is there. He's on the inside of Newman. Wiggles a bit. Side by side. Newman off the wall now, off of turn 4. Similar mistake that Tony Stewart made when Biffle was on the inside of Tony a little bit ago, and Newman will lose his lap because of it. And that also may allow Matt Kenseth to get underneath the 12 just like he got underneath Smoke earlier. Not quite though. Newman was able to get back down to the bottom and pull the block on Kenseth. He gets tight in the dirty air, and in the middle of the corner, he washes up the track. Again, Kenseth looks to the inside. Now Dale Jarrett's the last car in the lead lap. Biffle under Jarrett. Eighth of a tank of gas left for Biffle. Jarrett trying to squeeze the 16. Look at him get a little bit of a pull at the end of the front stretch. Side draft on that right rear corner panel. Biffle clears him off the exit of turn 2, though, and now Jarrett and Newman battle for the free pass. A couple of the Roush cars of Jeff Burton, Kurt Busch up ahead, side by side, before Busch is cleared by Burton. They'll both get underneath the 41 of Casey Mears, who was in the top 5 earlier before the first set of pit stops, but no longer is in the top 5. Not sure if these drivers are in the top 10 or not. So Mears starting to go backwards. He's the last car in the lead lap. Oh, contact between the Roush cars again of Kurt Busch and Jeff Burton. It's the second time we've seen him make contact today. First time was when Jeff Burton got squeezed into the wall by Kurt Busch when he was underneath, and that time Kurt gets into the left rear of the 99, so both times Kurt Busch seemingly at fault of the contact. Whether his car is on the tight side or he's just racing too aggressively, maybe a mixture of both. Can't be making Jeff Burton very happy. Burton's going to lose a spot to the 41, it looks like, as well, after losing that inside lane to Busch. This guy's racing aggressively up here, is allowing Biffle to close in on him. Mark Martin in the 6th, just ahead of him. I believe Martin's already 1 lap down, though. He's well off the pace compared to the other 4 Roush cars. Biffle looks low on Burton. Beats him to the inside in turn 3. Looks like he's going to lose a lap. Biffle to the inside of Casey Mears. Contact as they're 3 wide. Gets around and really squeers Mears between Newman, or sorry, the 6 car is not Newman in this game, it is Mark Martin and Greg Biffle. Roush Fenway sandwich is what I'd like to call that. Casey Mears' Dodge was the middle of it. Kurt Busch going to lay over and let Biffle put him a lap down. I think Busch is aware Biffle's going to be pitting in the next few laps. Jimmy Fennig, Kurt Busch's teammate in 2004, letting him know. Of course, they won the championship in the actual 2004 season. Trying to do the same on this custom schedule, season-long points format season for NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Greg Biffle underneath Brian Vickers in the 25 car. Vickers going to go a lap down. Best timing for a caution would be right now before Biffle has to make his 2nd stop of the night. But unless he gets it very, very soon, I doubt that that's going to be the case. Biffle will stay out 1 more lap. Scott Riggs still the only car out of the race. So Biffle will pit this time by at lap 198. It'll be his 2nd stop of the day, both under green flag conditions. He has about a 12-second lead over 2nd place. Whether that is still Kevin Harvick or not, we are not exactly sure. 4 tires and fuel. Great job getting into the pits without locking the tires up for Greg Biffle, but he is in to make his 2nd stop of the night. Under the 2012 point system, the max a driver could earn was 47. 42nd for finishing first, but then the 1 bonus point for leading a lap, 1 bonus point for leading the most laps, and then 3 for a win. Gotcha. I don't know how many points behind Boyer finished at the end of the... Well, it's not that he finished. It's how many he would have lost from finishing wherever he would have finished at Phoenix, plus the, you know, the championship. All that also included. Kickstart my crew, welcome to stream as well. I didn't realize you were the one that asked if this was on the PS2. Sorry for not shouting you out earlier. Welcome to the stream. So Greg Biffle will be in 16th place. He's about 24.5 seconds off the race lead following his second pit stop of the day. He is still on the lead lap, but Kevin Harvick will now take over his third race lead of the day. As we are at lap 201 this time by for Harvick, 112 laps to go. So definitely an interesting circumstance here, considering the fact that track position is important at Phoenix. Gone an awfully long time without a caution, almost 150 laps under this current green flag run. But Biffle has fresher tires, about 50 to 60 lap fresher tires, and he's looking to go to work. He needs to try to eat into that lead as much as possible. Everybody still has to make one more stop to the end of the race. Biffle has one more, as well as the rest of the field. 39 points behind. Is that what he ended up finishing as it was normally? Then you'd have to look at where he finished at Phoenix that day, so I'm not sure where he would have finished, considering that there were probably other drivers who had DNF before he exited the race. So you'd have to see, you know, where he finished that day, and then in comparison, you know, where he theoretically could have finished that day. He might not have won the race running, you know, if him and Gordon didn't have those issues. So Wimmer not for position. Jamie McMurray may be for position. Remember, McMurray's a rival of Biffle. These two have made contact both times they've been around each other today. Biffle trying to get to the inside of the 42, but the 42 will throw a block into turn one. Biffle's got much fresher tires, so he's definitely got the pace to get around Jamie Mack. Biffle clears him cleanly. Big block in the dog leg. But he will get around McMurray cleanly. McMurray overdrives turn 3, maybe trying to get to the back bumper of the 16. He'll lose some time there, and Biffle will pull away as he's up to 15th now. There's a great deal of traffic way up ahead. Likely a mixture of lap cars and lead lap cars if I had to guess. Jeffrey Giordano, welcome to the stream. Bubba Wallace fan down in the chat. 14 likes on the stream right now. Trying to get to 20 tonight. So make sure you hit that like button if you haven't done so already, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Road to 10,000 subs in the calendar year 2022. Barely over 1,000 subs when the year started, and we've had nearly 500 since then, so we're not quite on pace to be able to get there, but the rate we're going at right now, but obviously that pace can pick up as we get more viewers and more subscribers and stuff. That'll help. So I'm not doubting my chances that I could get there by the end of the year. Definitely set the bar high for this year, but I'll strive to achieve it. Boyer entered 47 behind. Johnson DNF. Keselowski running out of fuel, finished 15th. Boyer finishing second in order to win the championship. Keselowski had to finish 24th or below. That was if he would have went on to win or at Phoenix. Biffle taking it 3 wide under Casey Mears and Brian Vickers contact in the dog leg. Biffle trying to make a 3-wide pass earlier in the race. In that area, we almost saw a wreck, and we nearly saw one right there as well. Biffle getting desperate to try and make these passes for position. Vickers was a lap down, but Mears is for a spot for 14th. So unfortunately, he's back outside the top 10 in the 15th position for Mears' sake. He was in the top 5 earlier today, as high as 4th at one point. Biffle almost gets into Jason Kennedy. That was a close one. Kennedy bounces off the wall, though, off of turn 4. No, if he entered Homestead at 47 points behind it. Oh, gotcha. Biffle up to 12th. Gets around teammate Jeff Burton. Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte both for position ahead of him. Again, Biffle has about 50 to 60 lap pressure tires, so he's making quick work of these guys. Squeezes under Labonte. Surprisingly, never really got... Oh, well, I was going to say he didn't get out of shape, but he kind of overcorrected. Both him and Labonte get the wall off of turn 4, but he will make the pass on him for 10th. .97 laps to go at Phoenix. Still sitting on just the lone caution in today's race. Big block by Ryan Newman on the front straightaway. Biffle drives underneath them into turns 1 and 2. Newman tried to squeeze him. Couldn't do it. Outmatched by the fresher tires on the 16 car. Biffle, oh, into Kurt Busch. A little bump and run. Busch tried to squeeze him. Busch has been racing his teammates very aggressively in today's race, and Biffle wasn't going to have any of it. I think Jack Roush is going to have to sit these drivers down at the end of the race today. Especially if none of them are able to go on to victory lane the way they've raced so far in this one. Biffle rides in line behind Matt Kenseth. One car pitting off the exit of turn 4. Might have been Jeff Gordon, because it was a spot. Couldn't tell who exactly it was. So the pit window's open to make it to the end of the race, as of right now. At lap 217. Kenseth is really blocking Biffle. Another car pitting off of turn 4. It was a lapper, though. Biffle to the inside of Kenseth on the front stretch. And yeah, it was Jeff Gordon who was on pit road. Biffle clears Kenseth off of turn 2 for 6th. He would be in 7th if Gordon didn't pit. Gordon was in the top 5. There's actually quite a few drivers on pit road right now compared to what I thought we were going to end up seeing. The window just opening to the end of the race. Biffle still 17.5 seconds off of Harvick, though. It's going to be tough to be able to get him by the end of this race. That's a lot of time to try and make up. Without a caution, of course. All it takes is that one yellow, though. We'll alternate through the different camera angles. For the second and final time in tonight's race. Biffle drives to the inside of Brendan Gaughan. Biffle clears Gaughan off turn 2. Not for position. Gaughan was already a lap down. Potentially multiple laps down depending on if he already made his final stop or not. For the most part, Biffle's getting through the lap traffic pretty well since coming out of the pit lane. It's one thing with being this far behind Harvick, about a half a track, maybe a little more than that, even behind the 29, is we don't know how Harvick's getting through the lap traffic exactly. Harvick's come close to a couple wins, though, early this season in the first 7 races, but he is still winless. So he's trying to pick up his first today. The only 3 drivers to win races this season are Greg Biffle, Tony Stewart, and then in the last race, Scott Wimmer got his first win of the year. Tony Stewart won the Daytona 500. Biffle's won the rest of them. A lot of heavy traffic right around Biffle. Biffle drives it in deep. Beats Sadler to the bottom as he's going to pick Sadler behind the slower number 5 car of Terry Labonte. Biffle has cracked the top 5 once again. A pretty reasonable race pace. Little bump and run on Rusty Wallace for position. Biffle to 4th. Getting around Rusty. Just less than 15 seconds off the lead. Wallace got tight off of turn 4, loses a bit more ground. We've mentioned today how hard it is to pass the leader. We've seen very few passes for the lead. Really, most of the lead changes have come on the restarts. Very beginning of the race, just a couple laps in, and then Biffle only took the lead because he had not taken tires during the first pit stop of the day under the caution at lap 51. And now we're at a circumstance where he's trying to run down the leader, but it's going to be tough to get around the 29 once he gets there unless he has a tire advantage like he does now. That's why he's passing cars with ease. Even in lap traffic, he was struggling when he was leading on the older tires. Neiman checking the wall off of turn 4. Biffle grazes it as well. Biffle clears him with a clean pass. Both cars just went a little bit wide. Now, when he first came out of the pit lane after making his stop at lap 198, which was 32 laps ago, he was 24 seconds off the lead. Now it's down to about 12 and a half. So in 32 laps, he's gained 12.5 seconds on about 50 to 60 lap fresher tires. Now, more cars coming into the pits that time off of turn 4, though, and that's the big thing, is that we don't know when Harvick will pit, but when he pits, then Harvick's going to be a bit faster than Biffle, because then he'll take on fresh tires. And maybe the strategy is for Biffle, stay out as long as you can. You know, you can go to about lap 295, 296 before you have to pit. Maybe hope that we get a caution in that stretch that could trap most of the field a lap down. And then pit under the yellow flag and try to get back on those fresher tires, because that's definitely the easiest way to get around the traffic. Still going to lack the track position on the restart, which the driver at the clean air, even on older tires, we saw that with Biffle earlier. Although he wasn't pulling away, he was able to hold on for a while before Harvick finally got around him. So definitely a lot of strategy in today's race at Phoenix. Steele Jr. coming out of the pits. Biffle cycles in front of him. Jeff Gordon in the lead. Harvick came into the pits that last lap. So Harvick is on pit road. Gordon leads at Phoenix once again. I would imagine with Biffle's strategy, he's going to end up going on to lead the most laps today, even if we don't know exactly if he's got the fastest car or not. Oh, underneath Johnny Sauter, a lot of contact into turn 1. Kind of got tangled a little bit off the exit of turn 4, and they couldn't get off of one another on the front straightaway. Gordon stays out again. He led a lot of laps early on, so he's trying to add on to his lap sled. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up to Greg Biffle or Kevin Harvick, but it's worth a try. We'll go back to the far chase cam for the rest of tonight's race now. And Biffle still closing in on Biffle. I said Biffle still closing. Biffle still closing in on Gordon. Gordon on the older tires, still having to make his final stop. He'll stay out again, it looks like, off of turn 4. Biffle working on the lap cars of Ricky Rudd and Ward Burton. Clears them both in turns 1 and 2. And Gordon is now on pit road. New leader at the line. Greg Biffle back out in front for the 4th different time today. And this one, virtue of the green flag pit stops once again. He's only led because of strategy today. Let me put that out there. So I don't know if he has the fastest car. All of his laps have been strategy built. No tires under the first stop of the day to get to the lead. He held on for a little bit before pitting. Then he was on fresher tires trying to make up some ground that he had lost with the green flag stop. The rest of the field had pitted because we stayed green long enough. He got back in the lead for about another 40 to 50 laps before having to make his second stop for tires on the day, his 3rd stop total. Then the rest of the field is pitting right now, and he's back in the lead again, because we have not had that caution since restarting at lap 54. Looks like most of our predictions are going to be wrong based on how many cautions we're going to get today. $19 likes on the stream all of a sudden now. 15 people watching. Appreciate you guys coming in. Biffle leads by about 12.5 seconds, a little less than that. But Biffle still has to make his final stop of the day, and he has to decide on when exactly he is going to do it. I think as soon as he clinches the most laps led, you're going to see the Biff make his way onto pit road. And then we'll have to wait and see if he's going to be able to run down whoever will be the leader after he pits to the end of the race. Or he could hope for a caution, which would trap some of the field a lap down, but not all of them. Biffle on a little bit older tires now. Gets around Wimmer, who pushes his car into the wall off of turn 4. Man, I just don't know. Biffle was in 7th place before the green flag pit stops really started. So he's definitely going to have a good finish even if it plays green to the end. No matter what the strategy will be. See, he could go fuel only, or even right sides only, considering he's only going to have to go about 20. If he tried to stay out as long as he could and went fuel only, he's still not going to be able to come out with the race lead. There's no way. We got more cars coming into the pit, so maybe that wasn't Harvick in 2nd place. Thought all the cars might have pitted, but I guess that wasn't the case. I guess Bobby Labonte was the last car out on the track, as well as Elliott Sadler. They were both out on the track a long time before their last stops. They pitted around lap 150. Another car coming into the pits. Towards the front of the field. That one might have been Bobby Labonte that time around. And that will grow Greg Biffle's lead out over 20 seconds and growing still. Maybe he could get away with a fuel-only stop. About a 24.8 second lead. He's halfway on fuel at lap 248. Again, we know he's going to be well short to the end. Probably going to have to pit around lap 195, 196. Sorry, 295, 296. For his 3rd and final stop for fuel, at least. That's interesting, though. He might be able to go fuel only and stay with the race lead. If he does go fuel only, his best bet is going to be to stay out as long as he can. And hope that we get a caution. And if we don't, then he'll go fuel only to the end of the race. If we get a yellow, he'll pit for tires and gas under the caution. So we're closing in on almost 200 laps into this green flag run. A 25-second lead for Greg Biffle right now. Slides. Car moving around a lot that time in turns 3 and 4 behind Michael Waltrip in the 15. Just trying to desperately hold on to his lap. In front of the Biff. Waltrip, I think he might have touched the curb on entry into the dog leg, and that knocked him a bit wide. Biffle will finally get underneath him now into turn 3. Wiggles up the track, keeps it off of Waltrip. Waltrip in the wall, though, off turn 4. But he still powers through even after scraping the wall. And Biffle finally going to clear him off of turn 2. A car blowing up on the inside of the racetrack. Oh, and one car checking up. That's Mark Martin. Biffle had to go to the outside to get around Martin, and he got in the wall. That's going to slow Biffle's time up a little bit. Waltrip's at the inside of the 6 now. That was the 192 car who had blown an engine that time, and now Martin gets in the wall on the dog leg. With him and Waltrip side by side, I don't think the two cars made any contact. If we're watching that battle going on behind him, he slides a bit more in 3 and 4, and I think Mark Martin just hit the wall again off of turn 4, so he's really struggling with his car all of a sudden. I think Biffle got around him when he did. In the transition of those last couple laps, Biffle had about a 25.5 second lead. It's down to 24.9. Biffle's probably only going to have to take a half a tank of fuel. He can maybe get away with a quarter of a tank and a half a gallon, but just to be safe, he's going to take a half a tank. Obviously, he's going to have to make sure he doesn't speed coming into the pits. He's had 2 green flag stops already today. He has not sped during both of them, so far, so good. Mr. Clean Crew, even if it is a fuel-only stop, going to have to make a clean stop as well. They have made a mistake on a 2-tire stop at Talladega for Biffle since joining the 16 team a few races ago. They haven't made any bad pit stops in the Busch Series side of things, luckily. Well, asked you guys down in the chat earlier in the race who exactly or how many cautions you guys thought exactly would happen in today's race, because we've only had one so far back at lap 51 and we've gone green for over 200 laps. You think we're going to get another caution before the end of this one, or you think it will play caution free at least for the final just over 250 laps? Considering this is a short track too, I'm really surprised that we've seen just the one caution. Also a testament to the Cup Series and how hard it is just to go caution-free in this series, in this game, compared to the shorter series that aren't as long, like the Busch Series where we had 3 caution-free races already in the year. Our Truck Series custom schedule season, we had 5 caution-free races. But none on the Cup side. Car's that much harder to drive also than the other 2 series. A little bit more speed in both. $50 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by. Jared Jones right in front of Greg Biffle. Biffle trying to intimidate him. Got him a bit loose. Make the pass on him, but he does close in on him. Biffle just going to try to drive him around. Drive around him. Uses the curb and the dog leg. Jared Jones probably going to make this difficult on Biffle. He's already 1 lap down. Potentially more than that. We're not entirely sure how many laps down he is, but we know for a fact he's at least 1 lap down already. He's not on the lead lap. So close. Remember, Biffle on a little bit older tires, too. Biffle does not need this right now. He needs to get around him. Knowing if this stays green, he's going to be on older tires to the end of the race. So every lap car that holds him up is just going to be that much harder for Biffle to hold on to the lead by the end of it. Overdrives turns 3 and 4 a bit, trying to get to the inside of J.R. Jones. He lost a little time on him. He's lost a couple tenths of his lead already since working behind Jones. It's a little loose, had his left side's down below the apron. Little contact in the dog leg. And that contact really hurt Biffle because he's still stuck behind him. Trying to loosen him up with a little bit of contact on a bump and run maneuver in turns 3 and 4. Still can't get Jones up off the bottom. This has to be frustrating for Biffle. Especially because, again, Jones is already 1 lap down. He's just trying not to go another lap down. Biffle again puts the bumper to him. But again, to no avail, he's not able to get enough of it to move him up out of the way. Might trap him behind the lap car. Couldn't get great acceleration, though, with the contact he made with the 176. 145 car, who was much slower on the outside, is going to slow the 176 up enough. Biffle gets around both of them through turns 3 and 4. So finally, Biffle makes his pass around that lap car. I'm also wondering if anybody else is going to pit if we get another caution to the end of this race instead of just Biffle hitting pit road. Track position means a lot, so I would not be surprised if some of the front runners end up staying out. Older tires might allow whoever would be the leader on the restart to hold on to the end. Of course, depending on how many laps we'll end up having left at that point too. As of right now, we have 43 laps to go. 42 when Biffle crosses the start-finish line this time around. Again, Biffle can go probably about another 25 laps or so before he has to pit from now. So we'll have less than 20 to go when he ends up making his third and final stop for fuel. Again, this is a very long pit road, one of the longest pit roads in NASCAR. And it is a short track, so 26-second lead might seem like a lot. It's going to be tough, even taking fuel only, for Greg Biffle to come out with the race lead. And if he doesn't have the race lead, he's on older tires, I don't think he's going to be able to catch. Again, likely it's going to be Kevin Harvick. Biffle's stolen 2 wins away from Harvick already this season. One at Talladega late, and then one on the final lap at Darlington in turns 1 and 2. He intimidated him and got him loose. Harvick slipped up the track, kept it off the wall, but took him out of a shot to win. Biffle got into the back of the 142 car. He exited turn 4. All these lap cars are really racing Biffle hard. It seems to be the ones that are already 1 down, if not more than that. At the 176 earlier, and now the 142. Definitely tell he does not have the straightaway speed anymore. Wiggling around a lot. Turns 3 and 4. Definitely making Biffle's life hard. Later going to this one. Oh, big block! And into the wall goes the 142 of Russell Jackson. Biffle was down in the grass before having to work his way up the track in the dog leg. Up onto the curbing. That was a terrible block by the 142 car. And now Biffle's stuck on the outside. So as if the blocking itself wasn't enough to hold Biffle back, the contact with Russell Hughes that time really costed him a bunch of time. That last lap. And Hughes is right back in front of him again as well. Looks low. Contact. Biffle moves him up out of the way that time. Said, I need to go. Hughes has costed Biffle over 2 seconds. And Dale Jr., who's the first car lap down, is closing in on the 16 as well on those fresher tires. Trying to get back on the lead lap. Biffle going wide on his older tires. Jr. looks low. Biffle with a block on the front straightaway. Jr. clipped the apron a little bit on entry to turn 1. Caused him to get a little tight. Biffle just needs to find some breathing room behind him. It's going to be tough now. He's getting held up by the lap cars quite a bit. The good news is he's got clean air in front of him for the first time in a while. And late in this race now, Greg Biffle has just clinched the most laps led with 34 laps to go. So it will be a 10 bonus point day for Greg Biffle, win or not, for leading the most laps in another race in the early going of the season. Remember, Dale Jr. second in points coming into this race, only 62 behind Biffle. Not sure what position he's running in, but he'd like to get his lap back before a potential caution. Again, if we even see one from now to the end of the race. I don't know what's going to be better for Biffle, if we get a caution and he pits knowing how much track position is vital, or if he just ends up taking the fuel only under green and hoping that he can cycle out as a leader still. Tell you what, I'm getting anxious just waiting for the end of this race as it is, just to see what strategy is going to work out. If it will be Harvick's or Biffle's. I mean, Harvick's basically on the same strategy as the rest of the field, but he's had the car and had the track position to put himself in position to win the race with this strategy, versus Biffle just going completely off of it compared to the rest of the field. I mean, I even mentioned when the strategy happened earlier in the race, I did not think we were going to stay green to the end anyway, so I wasn't sure that that was really going to make or break Biffle's race. It might end up doing so if we do stay green to the end. We're coming to 30 laps to go at the line this time. Biffle continues to lead. Will do so at least until he ends up pitting. Definitely not going to be able to come out with the lead with 4 tires. He'd have no shot. And I don't think he'd be able to make up enough time in the final 20 laps to get back out to the lead either. Right sides only. Potentially. but he wouldn't really gain much time on the run back through, although he'd have fresher right sides on the rest of the field. His left sides are going to be older, so it'd kind of even out on tires as well. And I don't think he has the fastest car in the field, despite leading the most laps today, because he's only led based off of strategy. He's had a fast enough car to get himself a top 10, potentially top 5 day on speed alone. Yeah, one car blowing up and is on pit road, will continue to stay green with less than 30 laps left. Not sure who it was, but they were able to stay off the track. Biffle gonna get blocked in the dogleg. He got out of the gas and let Gunn go. They're side by side right in front of him, not making Biffle's life easy at all, once again. He's got an eighth of a tank of fuel left. He'll put Vickers another lap down. He'll put Jeff Burton another lap down. He's still working on the rookie Brendan Gaughan. A little bump and run to Gaughan. Again, for those of you just tuning in or maybe coming back, Biffle still has to make his final stop. Everybody else is good on fuel to the end. He's got a 25-second lead right now, almost 25.5 seconds. He struggled in lap traffic late, though. They are not giving him a lot of room to make passes. And it is going to be a fuel-only stop for Greg Biffle when he makes his final one of the day. SG Fulton 83, welcome to the stream. Red Wings ... Guess I can look at the past if since you. Are you not a Red Wings fan? Is that what that's supposed to entail? I do have my Red Wings vest on tonight. Sweater vest. Or I guess this is a polo. It's more of a polo. Side-by-side lap traffic in front of Biffle once again. Nemechek got to stay out of the way. As soon as he cleared Charlie Davis, he got up the track and let the race leader go. Oh, maybe a little too wide as he got in the wall, and Charlie Davis is going to get right back around Nemechek anyway off the exit of turn 4 after Nemechek's mistake. Oh, you're an Avalanche? I can understand why you said that then. Pretty bitter rivalry there in the 90s into the early 2000s. That was a nasty one, too. Oh, one of the ugliest rivalries in sports history, if I had to say. They had quite the rivalry. They definitely did. It was before my time. Or at least before I could remember it. I was born in 99. So I would have been around for like the early 2000s stuff. I didn't really get into watching hockey until like the mid to late 2000s though, so I definitely wouldn't have even watched hockey at the time of the end of the rivalry. Fuel tank almost empty. Biffle will stay out to about lap 295 to 296. Probably pit at lap 295 just to be safe. So 295 will be the stop for Greg Biffle. We'll have 20 laps to go this time by. And again, unless we get a caution, it's the only way he's going to pit for tires because he'd have to pit anyway. Gets really loose up the track and in the wall off of turn 4. That's going to cost him a lot of time. He did overdrive the corner a little bit, but a lot of it was the dirty air in front of him with the 40 of Marlin. Upset the handling of the 16. Jeff Gordon, meanwhile, gets by Dale Jr. for position behind us. Caution! Trouble! Somewhere around the track, it was Dale Jr. Jr. spins in turns 3 and 4, bringing out a late yellow. Oh, man, I think he had a tire going down or something. It looked like he just went up the track and then he lost it. Right in line behind Jeff Gordon in the dirty air. Jr. backs it into the wall. our second caution of the day with about 19 laps to go. Biffle will have to pit, and he will lose the lead no matter what now, unless everybody else comes in. He had to pit for fuel anyway. So this is the decision. 4 tires will be the call. No adjustments on the 16 car, and he's going to have to get through however many cars that will be on the lead lap, which I don't think will be many, considering how big of a lead he had. And we should restart with more than 10 laps to go, so all the lap cars will be on the inside of the lead lap cars. So a late caution at Phoenix, only our second of the race, has brought in a bunch of strategy, and the Mr. Clean crew will go to work on the Granger 16 Ford of Greg Biffle. And we'll see what they can do. Well, this is going to be a very, very fun watch to the end. There are only 2 cars on the lead lap, and I think Jeff Gordon would have gotten the free pass, but he has to restart at the tail end of the longest line. Green flag back in the air, so just 3 cars on the lead lap as we head to the green. The lap cars on the inside of the lead lap cars. Biffle has pressured tires on Harvick. Track position has meant a lot today. Good news is for Harvick, he got down to the bottom pretty quickly. Biffle's still stuck on the outside. And if Harvick can get around the lapper of Kenseth, that's going to be big for him. Biffle still trying to get to the bottom. Rusty Wallace got to let him in. I thought he was going to. Wallace is 3 wide. Biffle's in the middle. Contact with Elliott Sadler. Finally down to the bottom. He crosses Wallace over into turn 3. Quickly, he's going to get by his teammate Matt Kenseth on the fresh tires, but finally Biffle onto the bottom. But this has been the story of the day. Clean air and track position. Harvick has it right now, so even though Biffle has fresher tires, the leader has been the hardest car to pass all day long. We've seen it with drivers on old tires. Biffle is knocking on the back bumper of the 29, though. Lap 300 at the line. We'll have 13 laps to go. Joseph Then, welcome to the stream. I think he's laughing at the Mr. Clean crew. Biffle underneath Harvick into the dog leg. Oh, Harvick just knocked the 16 into the curb. He's being aggressive trying to get that first win of the season. $12 to go. Harvick holds on for at least another lap. Biffle thought he was going to play cleanly. It's been hard enough to pass the leader. As it is, big block by Harvick. Off the curb. Harvick hangs on. You want to talk about being aggressive. Kevin Harvick, one of the more aggressive drivers as they come. Biffle trying to intimidate him. That's how he beat him at Darlington. 11 to go. Biffle has the tires, but this has been, again, the question all day. I'll say it again. Biffle gonna look to the outside. Harvick is gonna go up to block him all the way up high. Oh, Harvick grazes the wall, but he still holds on with 10 to go. Biffle again underneath Harvick. Harvick squeezes him again. Contact every time. Biffle gets to the inside of the leader. He gets squeezed. And there's been contact because the Harvick has thrown some bad blocks. He's definitely not been clear when blocking the 16. Biffle off the curb. Can get the car all the way down to the bottom that time. Off the exit of turn 4, he's there. Harvick leads that lap. Biffle gonna side draft Harvick into turn 1, side by side for the lead. Biffle on the yellow line. Harvick trying to side draft it, squeeze the 16. Biffle is clear into the dogleg, a block of his own. Harvick back to the bottom though. Oh, what a crossover by Kevin Harvick. But will he clear? Biffle on the outside, Harvick on the bottom as they come to 7 to go. Big side draft, Biffle leads that lap at the line, but Harvick still has the advantage down low. He does have older tires though, it's going to be hard for him to hold on. But he's got Biffle about where he wants him. He'd like to have him clear, but that's just not the case. Into turns 3 and 4. And Harvick has him clear off of turn 4, and again, the 29 car is back in the lead. And again, he'll throw a block into turn 1. Tony Stewart's a lap down behind these guys. I believe at least. I doubt he was the one that got the free pass. I believe it was Jeff Gordon. Not sure where Gordon's at in all this. He's maybe hoping the top two are going to wreck each other. Biffle looks extremely low off of turn 4. 5 laps to go. Harvick led that lap at the line. Side by side into turns 1 and 2. Harvick drives it in deep on the outside again. Biffle trying to race him straight up. And again, Biffle is clear in the dogleg. No crossover for Harvick though, this time into 3. Biffle going way down to the apron to block. Harvick overdrives turn 3. And Biffle on the fresh tires, finally, with 4 to go, will have taken the lead away from Harvick. Harvick trying to stay close, but on the older tires, it's going to be next to impossible. And we're at the point now, if we get another caution, the race is probably going to end up finishing under the yellow. Harvick stayed out. He tried the track position game. He held on for a long time. But he was just 4 laps shy, about 4.5 laps shy of being able to hold on for the win. And barring a major mistake by Greg Biffle, it looks like it's all said and done. So late drama with that caution with 19 laps to go. Definitely set up a more wild finish than probably what we were expecting. Although we don't know who would have actually cycled to the lead. If we would have ended up having Biffle make that stop under green, he would have went fuel only though, that's for sure. But that is why he tried that strategy. He was committed to, if we had a caution, he was going to pit for tires, and if we didn't have a caution, then he was going to take fuel only under green, and we had the yellow, so he was able to pit. He took the fresher tires. There were only 2 cars on the lead lap at the time. And Biffle is the huge benefactor in it all. Almost a 1.5 second lead into the final corner, one final time. Into turns 3 and 4. Biffle might not have had the fastest car, but he played the strategy game and he had the fresher tires at the end to pass Kevin Harvick with 4 to go. Green flag. Now the checker is in the air. Greg Biffle has won at Phoenix. And got a little bit of a game glitch here. I can't see where Biffle is at in the middle of the burnout. I've never seen this before. And yes, Gordon did get the free pass. He finished 5.8 seconds off the leaders at the end in 3rd. But you can't really see much of it, but Greg Biffle with this victory celebration. I've never seen that glitch in this game. I don't know how I haven't hit anything, not being able to look at the car. That's still a pretty good burnout. I wish we could see all of it, but... Oh, well, there we go. Now we're in the wall. I heard it. Oh, jeez. Well, either way, Greg Biffle's going to get the win today. 1.5 second victory over Kevin Harvick. The 3rd win he has stolen from Harvick late in the race this year. And we're only 8 races into the season. That's how close Harvick has been to winning on multiple occasions. Talladega road course. Got passed and then ended up DNFing. This one he gets passed, coming to 4 to go, and then at Darlington on the last lap he got passed. Got intimidated in turns 1 and 2 by Biffle when it looked like Biffle had no shot to win. He was a half a second behind Harvick going into 1 on the final lap, but Harvick got sideways enough. Biffle missed him, and he drove right around him. 15 lead changes in this race. Most of them simply because of, honestly, I think all of them were strategy-based. Whether it was Harvick taking the lead from Biffle on fresh tires midway through the race or Biffle taking the lead on fresh tires on Harvick late in the race. It was all basically on strategy. But Greg Biffle will get the win. 148 laps led as well. Max points day for him, expanding the points lead over Dale Jr. He came in with a 62-point lead. And Jr. wrecked late in this race, so I'm not sure if he DNF'd or not. We'll have to check here. Harvick led 101 laps today, finishing in close second place. Jeff Gordon led 52 laps, finishing third. Matt Kenseth ended up finishing fourth with no laps led. Tony Stewart rounds out the top 5. Rusty Walls finishes in 6th. Kurt Busch in 7th. Elliott Sadler 8th. Ryan Newman 9th. And Bobby Labonte rounds out the top 10. Labonte and Sadler both led 4 laps during the green flag pit stops earlier in the race. And didn't get the look. Dale Jr. finishes 16th today, being involved in that caution. He was the last car on the track that finished 1 lap down. So 16th for Jr. Tough finish for him. He's going to lose a lot of points today to the driver who ended up getting the max points day and was ahead of him already in points. Scott Riggs, who qualified on the pole and led the first 3 laps, ends up unfortunately finishing last. He blew an engine at lap 131. Mike Lockhart blew an engine. Robbie Gordon blew an engine late as well. Only had 3 drivers DNF today, but only 2 cautions total as well, so I guess that's not surprising in that aspect. But yeah, good little battle, and thanks for the good commentary as well down in the chat. Just keep on spinning your celebration. There we go. There you see Greg Biffle in victory lane. I'll try to remember to get the National Guard paint scheme on for tomorrow night's race. We'll be racing at the Devil's Canyon Speedway for the Tumbleweed 300. 150 laps on this wild road course that will be on the mountainside. You guys will get to see it tomorrow. It is probably the most narrow road course on the schedule this season. The Phoenix road course is narrow. This one's even more narrow. You'll just have to tune in. We're basically racing on like a country road on the mountainside through a tunnel at 1.2. It's a cool little racetrack. Definitely one of my favorite fantasy racetracks on this game. But that will be tomorrow night starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed by the New York Metro Speedway the following night. Another fantasy road course for this weekend's action of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. This custom schedule season-long points format. It's been a good one so far, and we saw a good little finish to a strategy-based race tonight at Phoenix. We've either seen very few cautions or a lot of cautions in the races this year, and the road courses on the fantasy tracks have been the ones where we've seen a lot of yellows. We had 36 at the Talladega road course, and we had 20 at the Phoenix road course, so who knows what the next 2 races will bring for us. We'll probably see a lot of yellows, if I had to guess, in those races, but we'll just have to wait and see. Greg Biffle is, of course, the points leader. He's got a 137-point lead now over Dale Jr., who finishes in 2nd. Jeff Gordon, 3rd in points as well. He's 219 back. Tony Stewart 4th, Matt Kenseth 5th. Again, there is no chase. This is a season-long points format. How about Michael Waltrip sitting 9th in points? He's actually tied for 8th with Johnson, but I guess Johnson is the tiebreaker for best average finish. Neither one of those 2 drivers have a win. Jimmy did win an exhibition race this year, but he didn't win a points race. Alrighty. Yep, so that is going to wrap it up here tonight, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 6. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your Thursday evening.